Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Not Minding My Own Business. I am your host and elder law and estate planning attorney, Russell Farbiars, and I am joined today by Candy Reiner from Sterling Life Solutions. Welcome, Candy.
Hi. Thank you, Russell. It's a pleasure to join you today. Thank you for having us.
Of course, of course. Now, some of our listeners may remember that we did have one of your colleagues on earlier in the year, but it's always good for us to check in again and, as businesses are growing to learn more about some other people that are in the business. So I appreciate you being here today. Why don't you tell us a little
Absolutely.
bit about what Sterling Life Solutions is all about?
Okay. Well, so Sterling Life Solutions, we're a senior move management company. And what that means is we help seniors that are maybe either transitioning from their home or maybe even wanting to age in place. And we help them with every aspect of that. Senior move management is an industry that's actually been around for over 20 years. There's even a national organization called National Association of Senior Move Managers, or otherwise known as NASM, that is well represents the the scope of work that's needed as a senior move manager. To this area, it is relatively new. A lot of people don't realize that this is a service that's available to them. But senior move management is a highly sought after and needed service because there's so many, specifically for seniors, there's so many people in their lives that it's not that they don't want to help them, but everyone's schedules are so busy in today's world that the ability to help them can be so challenging. So to know that there's someone else out there that can help with that, and not only that, but if it's with family members, sometimes family members are just a headbutting thing because it's like-minded people that the children telling the parents what to do or something like that, it's not always well received. So if you can have a middle person such as Sterling come in to help buffer that down a little bit, it helps maintain a more calm relationship status throughout the whole process. Because let's face it, moving or downsizing and decluttering, especially when you've been in a home for years, can be a very challenging task. So even for the young at heart, let alone that ones that have been collecting for over 50 years and have a whole house to decide what to do with. So
Yeah, it definitely can be a lot. I've worked with a lot of clients who they're in their house 50, 60 years and they've accumulated all this stuff. So what do you do to help them get to a point where they can actually move?
sure. Well, so there's many ways that we can start the process. What we would first recommend is that we just come in and we offer a free initial consultation. And that means we come in and we sit with you, we sit with you to define exactly what your needs are, what your end goal is, whether it's to age in place in your home, simply decluttering some things, or if you want to move down the road, then we can help you with all aspects of that. So we come in and get a final understanding of what you really want, and then we kind of define our services as what is specific to you, because our services are a wide range of services, so you can have as much or as little help as you need along the way. Some of the things that help with the initial part is, so you build that plan, and then we recommend going as early as possible. I mean, if you know you're going to be moving in 3 years, start this process 3 years, where we come in and we do what we call right sizing. We come in and help you identify things that you don't necessarily need anymore. Then we can set that aside, get them packed up so that we can remove them from the home. So then, and as you make a little bit of progress with that over time, then you see a big impact in a very short period of time. So that's our right sizing services. We actually have a right sizing technician that comes to your home and will like literally stand there and go through everything with you to help identify what you want to keep and what you want to let go of. And then what we can do with the items that you don't want to keep anymore, we have different avenues that we can remove those from your home. So our first approach is to always try to sell the items. And we actually we have an on staff gal that does our online sales to help sell the items for the best value possible. She works not only with online sales, but she also works with specialty auctioneers or special charitable organizations. If they aren't sellable but want to be donated, then we work with many different charity organizations to help find better homes for them. And then in the end, if for some reason the items aren't sellable or donatable, then we will dispose of them for you.
Okay. Now, I know there are some other services that you guys provide. I know uh, you provide some handyman services as well.
We do. So what happens, a lot, handyman services can be a little bit of a variation of things. So if you are in fact moving from the home and just need minor repairs to prep it for the next stages, such as selling or something, we can come in and do those basic minor repairs. Also, if you want to age in place and just want to install some grab bars or some safety precautions to help make the home safer for you during the long term, then our handyman services can come in for that. We also have connections with different contractors if you want a bigger scope of work. We don't do remodels per se,
Yeah.
but we have many connections that if you want to, maybe build a large ramp on the outside, that maybe that's something we want to contract out because of the time needed to make that happen. But it all depends on the type of services that you need. But if we can't do it ourselves, we have connections to find someone that can do it for you.
Okay. So what are some of the challenges that you see that seniors are facing when they get to this point where they might need your services?
Well, one of the big things is obviously their health and physical conditioning for it, because it's an exhausting process for even the youngest person. It can be incredibly exhausting. So when your mobility is a little more limited and your stamina is not as strong as it once used to be, it can be very daunting task. So to have someone like us who can come in and take the burden of that off your shoulders. A lot of our clients, they use walkers, or they or maybe even in a wheelchair or something of that nature where they just can't move, or if can move, it's for short periods of time, not long periods of time. So to have and then additionally the weight involved with lifting boxes and finding, just anything of that nature, to have younger, stronger backs like our team, because we do have an in-house team. What makes us stand out more than other senior move managers is that we have our own team, not only for the packing and the moving and the unpacking. So a lot of senior move managers will actually contract that work out to other people. We keep it all in-house: the handyman services, the cleaning services, the packing, the unpacking, the moving. We all have our own team and our own truck in order to make that happen. So we're not dealing with challenging schedules. We know our schedules up front.
Well, it also, I would imagine, allows you to control the quality because you're not subbing it out.
Absolutely. That's a key element. I mean, and it allows us to know who's coming into their home. So
Right.
it helps clients to feel more confident knowing that we have personally vetted the team coming into the home and they're comfortable, and we're comfortable with sending them into their homes, because that's not an easy thing for people to do. There's a lot of strangers come into your home. So to know that we have our own in-house team and we're not just reaching out to a moving company to make that happen provides a lot of comfort for them. That makes people feel a lot better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, how did Sterling Life Solutions get started?
Great. We actually just had a story written up us on the president of the company. His name is Matthew Bond, and he was written up in Berks County Living.
Oh,
And so it was a great story. So during COVID, Matt suddenly lost his father unexpectedly, and then he didn't have time to grieve that loss because he was so busy dealing with cleaning out the estate. And it was so much work, and he just realized as he was doing it that there was a need for this type of service. So he did some research and he found that senior move managers were a real thing. And it's just so close to his heart to know that he can help seniors overcome this obstacle, not only seniors, of course, but their family members overcome the obstacle that is often so challenging when, God forbid, we lose someone and we need an estate clean out, or just helping the family members move, because a lot of times the children aren't young anymore either. If you're talking to someone, if someone needs to move when they're in their 80s, 80 years old, that means their children are 60 plus years old and might not have the mobility that they once had either. So everyone has challenges along the way. So to know that there's someone there that can really lift that burden means a lot.
Absolutely. And then how did you get involved in this industry?
Well, I was with another company for over 20 years, and then this opportunity came across my desk, and I found it appealing. And to know that that you're working to help seniors and to give back to someone who's given so much to us over the years, to know that there's an opportunity to give back to them just means the world, not only to me, but also to the president of the company, because let's face it, our seniors, they did a lot to get us to where we are in the world today. And to know that we can give back to them in some way means a lot.
Oh, absolutely. We're all standing on their shoulders, every
It's
day,
definitely,
you know, and
absolutely.
and I think a lot of seniors sometimes feel like that they get forgotten. And so
Mhm.
it's nice that there's a service that's really dedicated to trying to
Focusing on them.
yeah, and making things easier for them. And you make a good point that a lot of them, if they're in their 80s or even in their 90s, their kids are not necessarily spring chickens anymore.
Yeah,
That
they
that
need some help too. Yeah.
ri- right. So what sort of what sort of objections do you get though to your, you know, because I'm sure that you might get some people who don't understand why your company is necessary. What do you say to those people?
Well, that's a good question, Russell. So helping them to understand that they don't have to do it on their own, and helping them to identify to let go of things. That's one of the more challenging, because on the aspect of moving, they if they're moving from a 3,000 square foot home into a 1,200 square foot home, they still want to take everything with them.
Hmm.
And we have to help them to learn and understand that it's just not going to fit. You don't need that 12-person dinner setting anymore, because you're not going to throw those big grand parties in your new smaller apartment that you maybe had in your huge home. So helping them to understand that is one of the bigger challenges, to learning how to let go of things. But one thing that softens that a little bit, kind of two things actually, is the fact that we can sell items for them to help get something back in return. Because again, seniors came from the era of depression. Our seniors today dealt with the depression, a lot of them have. So it's hard for them to let go of things that they've worked so hard to get in their life.
Right.
But helping them to understand that in today's world, they're it's more of a minimalist world. You don't need all those things in your life anymore, and giving them different ideas and helping them to understand ways to do that. One of my big things is a treasure book. Those sentimental items that you just struggle to let go of. Take pictures, write stories, create a book, because more than likely that sentimental item, you barely touched it in the last 20 years. You just know it's there and it gives you a sense of peace. But if you can take a picture and write a story about it and have a book that you can flip through, not only by yourself, but when your friends and family come over, that you can go through and tell stories and share stories of that. It means so much. And it's at your fingertips. It's a more manageable process at that point. So helping them with ideas like that, and even digitizing, bringing those, those digital picture frames that they have now, so that they can constantly see their picture flowing through of their family and friends and relatives. So different ways like that, just helping them to understand there are alternatives, that it's okay to let go of things, because there's another way that we can keep it in your memories and in your
Yeah,
forefront.
yeah, they can keep this stuff, but it doesn't necessarily have to take up, a whole room,
Exactly.
you know.
Exactly. Even repurposing pieces of furniture, like an old chest is obviously great storage, but maybe turn it into a coffee table as well. So it's got a multi-use purpose. So it's not just sitting in a corner collecting dust. It's got a secondary purpose. So yeah, helping
Yeah,
them find ways to do that.
yeah, and that's important. And it's hard for a lot of our seniors because these are big changes, and they get set in the way things, as we age, we don't like things to change too much. So, what strategies do you use to sort, other than what we've talked about, to sort of help people transition?
Well, I mean, the right sizing is a big part of that. So helping them by bringing someone in to go through their closet, to let go of those clothes that are still there from 20 years ago that they really can't fit in into anymore. Or maybe it's a spouse has passed on and there's a bunch of suits in the closet that you just don't know what to do with. Well, we know a bunch of different organizations that can put those to good use by giving them to people that are less fortunate, that maybe needs it for interviews or something like that. So finding other ways to find a valuable meaning for those pieces means a lot.
Ab-
So,
Absolutely. Now, Candy, a little bit about you. How do you spend time when you aren't working?
When am I not working?
I don't know. But there has to be some moments there.
No, now I have a great group of friends that we have this little social group that we try to get to Lancaster Barnstormer games. I do a lot. I have some friends who are associated with the Barnstormers, so we go to different ball games and we go out to dinner with friends and just kind of keep the socializing in the play. I'm big. I'm personally big on cleaning and organization myself. I love a clean and organized home. Which a lot of my friends make fun of me for because when you walk into my home, they're like, "How do you keep your house so clean?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't have kids right now, and I don't have children, or I don't have pets, so it's a lot easier to maintain without that in the ball ground or in the background." So believe it or not, I get a little bit of joy just getting some cleaning when I can kick my husband out of the house so that I can get the cleaning done. There's a great sense of satisfaction that comes along with that for me, anyhow. So.
That that's great. Yeah, yeah, I not having kids, in the home, I'm sure helps a lot with that because
Kids or pets, either one.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah. So and my husband's pretty good about keeping clean as well. So when we finish up with something, we put it back where we found it, and you'd be surprised at how easy it is to maintain something when you do that. So that's not it's not always easy to do, but it is doable. So
I'm gonna have you talk to my kids and see if you can convince them.
I'm not a spring chicken myself anymore. It's taken years to learn some of this.
Yeah, 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 kids just like to put stuff back, they
Mhm.
just drop it when they're done with it and then,
Yeah.
you know, but
You'd be surprised though if you get into that habit of you got something, put it back where you found it, and it won't be so hard to maintain it. So,
uh
yeah.
n- now other than the great work that you're doing with Sterling Life Solutions, how else do you contribute back to the community?
Well, we're always trying to find ways to like just share with others via presentations at local communities. We like to just do not only just to talk about what we do. A lot of times our presentations don't even focus on what we do, but rather just educate people to help them understand what's available to them out there. And we've donated to a couple causes over the years that are dear to our heart. We work with an organization here that had some needs for sponsorship, so we've helped out with that in the past for local community events. So different things like that and ways of helping out.
What would you say is something about what Sterling Life Solutions does that the average person wouldn't be aware of?
Ooh, good question. Let's see here. Well, we talk about we talk about the moving and the packing and the right sizing, but estate cleanouts is a big part of what we do as
Yeah.
well. So if you've lost a family member and you need to empty out their house, and if you're like me, I cringe when I think about going through my parents' house someday and what's going to be involved with that. So to know that there's a service out there that can help with that. So we also help with estate cleanouts. And again, what's really great about estate cleanouts is not only are we emptying out the house for you and finding homes, but we're trying to sell a lot of the pieces that are in there to get you some more return for items rather than just. You'd be surprised how many stories we've heard of people just backing a dumpster up to the garage and just throwing things in. And there's a lot of value that people aren't recognizing. So to have our salesperson on staff that is well versed in what has value is so beneficial to know that there's a great opportunity to get some return, and in the process keeping our landfills less full, hopefully,
Right.
because that's a big problem in keeping eco-friendly, making sure that we're making a difference that way, and to find other alternatives besides disposal to get rid of items, because that is our absolute last resort. If we can't sell it, we want to donate it to a charity that can that someone else that is in need can put to use.
Absolutely, and that's great. And there seems to be a trend with, clean out companies and maybe not moving companies, but definitely clean out companies lately to be green in the
Yeah.
sense that, trying to reuse stuff. And it's great that you've imported some of that into the work that you're doing.
Oh, most definitely. It's so important in today's world. I mean, we're a wasteful world. Let's face it. So to find another way to put something to use versus destroying it is a great opportunity.
Yeah, and it's a fine balance because, it's, we are a wasteful world, but we're also, as you mentioned before, more minimalist than,
Mhm.
some of our seniors who were, because of the Depression era,
Holding on to things.
they hold on to everything because they might need it one day,
Oh yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
definitely interesting.
that's something we have to educate ourselves on too, because I mean, I know I have a father like that. I'm like, well, I got all these screws. I don't want to get rid of them because I'll be able to put them to use in some other way. So he's got this big, huge garage, and I will say he's got it pretty well organized. But at the same point, I'm like, you've had that for a few years now. If you really need something, throw it away. You can always buy it again if you really, really need it. But it's a hard mindset to get in front of. But
Hmm.
there's a little bit of sanity that comes with that decluttering and keeping
Yes.
something clean and organized. That there's a peace of mind that comes with that gives you a sense of satisfaction. So helping people to understand that it's okay to let go of things. You don't have to hold on to everything for the fact that you may use it down the road. And that was a hard lesson for me to learn myself, because
Hmm.
I mean, for women, I know clothes are a big thing. Again, maybe I'll fit back into it someday, so let's hold on to it. And then finally a few years ago, I was like, you know what, if it's really that important to me, I will buy it again. Because but I don't think I've ever gotten rid of something that I'm like, yep, I really need to go out and buy that again. Because once I got rid of it, I was like, yeah, I really didn't need it. I got other opportunities for other items to wear or other things to use. So, yep, absolutely.
Well, Candy, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you for
Um,
having me.
if any of our listeners are looking to reach out to Sterling Life Solutions, what's the best way to do that?
Well, there's a few different ways. You can visit us on our website. We have a great website at www.sterlinglifesolutions.com. We got a lot of great information, blog posts on there, tools, newsletters, and just all about our services. Or you can call us at 484 3743. And if you press option 1, you'll be connected with our Sterling concierge, and she will not only talk about all of our services and how we can help, but she'll walk through what your needs are and get a consultation scheduled up for you.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Candy. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, Russell. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.